Hello everyone, and welcome to UFO Evidence. We often look to the skies from Earth, wondering if we're alone. But what about those who have ventured beyond our atmosphere? The astronauts who have seen the cosmos up close? You might think their experiences are all science and procedure, but many have returned with stories that defy simple explanation. Today, we're diving into the compelling and often suppressed accounts of UFO encounters reported by the very people we trust to explore the final frontier. These aren't just blurry photos from a backyard. These are testimonies from trained observers, pilots, and scientists who have witnessed things in space that they simply cannot explain. Let's start with a legend, Gordon Cooper. He was one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts, a decorated pilot with over 7,000 hours of flight time. His experience with unidentified flying objects didn't even start in space. Back in 1951, while flying over Germany, he and other pilots sighted metallic, saucer-shaped objects flying in formation at incredible speeds, far exceeding the capabilities of any known aircraft. He reported them, and the incident was investigated, but no explanation was ever given. But his most famous sighting came years later. In 1957, at Edwards Air Force Base in California, Cooper and his camera crew filmed a saucer-like object that landed just a few hundred feet away on a dry lake bed. It had 3 landing legs that extended from its base. The object then took off vertically at a tremendous speed and disappeared. Cooper had the film developed, but it was immediately confiscated by a courier from Washington, D.C., and was never seen again. Cooper remained adamant about what he saw until his death, stating he believed we have been visited by extraterrestrial craft. Next we have the case of James McDivitt, the commander of the Gemini 4 mission in 1965. During this mission, which was famous for Ed White's first American spacewalk, McDivitt saw something he described as a white, cylindrical object with a white pole sticking out of one side. He grabbed his camera and took some photos and film. He tried to track it, but the sun's glare made it difficult. When he reported it to Mission Control, they checked their tracking data and found nothing else in orbit near him. Later, NORAD suggested it might be the Pegasus 2 satellite, but McDivitt was certain it wasn't. He was a seasoned pilot who knew how to identify other spacecraft. He described the object's movements as controlled, not like a piece of tumbling space debris. The photos he took were analyzed, but the results were inconclusive, with some officials trying to dismiss it as light reflection. But for McDivitt, it remains a genuine, unexplained sighting by a man in the best possible position to see it. Perhaps one of the most famous and chilling accounts comes from the Apollo 11 mission, the one that put humans on the moon. While Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the stars, it's Aldrin's later comments that raise eyebrows. In several interviews, Aldrin described how the crew observed an object flying alongside their spacecraft on the way to the moon. They initially thought it might be the SVB, the detached upper stage of their Saturn V rocket. They radioed Houston to ask for its position, and Mission Control confirmed the SVB was about 6,000 miles away. So what was this object? Aldrin described it as L-shaped and said it appeared to be observing them. They were hesitant to report it as a UFO over the open radio channel for fear of causing a panic or being ridiculed. Armstrong famously switched to a private medical channel to ask about the object. The crew watched it for some time before it disappeared. Aldrin has been careful with his words over the years, but he has consistently maintained that they saw something they could not identify. The stories don't stop with the Apollo era. Let's move to the Space Shuttle program. Dr. Story Musgrave is a highly respected astronaut with 6 shuttle missions under his belt. He's also a physician and has multiple advanced degrees. He's not someone prone to fantasy. Musgrave has spoken openly about seeing things in orbit that he cannot explain. In one interview, he described seeing a snake-like object, eel-like, that was several feet long and moved in a controlled, undulating manner through space. He observed it on 2 separate missions. He emphasized that this wasn't just space junk, It moved with purpose. He believes that these observations point towards the existence of extraterrestrial life. Musgrave's perspective is profound. He suggests that if you look at the vastness of the universe, the idea that we are the only intelligent life is statistically absurd. He believes that other civilizations are likely out there, potentially millions of years more advanced than we are. Another compelling case from the shuttle era is that of Dr. Franklin Story Musgrave's colleague, Dr. Edgar Mitchell. He was the sixth person to walk on the moon during the Apollo 14 mission. After his time with NASA, Mitchell became one of the most outspoken proponents of the existence of UFOs and an extraterrestrial presence. He claimed that he was aware of many UFO visits to Earth during his career, and that these have been covered up by governments for decades. He stated that he had been privately briefed by sources at the Pentagon and in the intelligence community who confirmed that we have been in contact with non-terrestrial beings. Mitchell believed the famous Roswell incident in 1947 was real and was indeed the crash of an alien craft. He argued that the reason for the cover-up was fear of public panic, and fear that the advanced technology could not be controlled. While many dismissed his claims as speculation, it's hard to ignore the words of a man who has walked on the moon and held top-secret clearances. Even Russian cosmonauts have their share of incredible stories. Major General Vladimir Kovalyonok, during his time aboard the Salyut 6 space station in 1981, witnessed an object that he couldn't identify. He described it as a small elliptical object that was flying parallel to the station. Suddenly, it seemed to expand into a large golden cloud of smoke, then split into two pieces, which then flew off in different directions. He immediately called his crewmate Viktor Savinik, who saw the aftermath but missed the initial event. Kovalyonok was baffled, describing it as a controlled, explosive event, not a natural phenomenon. He reported it to the ground, but no official explanation was ever offered. This wasn't a fleeting glimpse, it was a sustained observation of a complex and bizarre event in orbit by a highly trained cosmonaut. Another cosmonaut, Musa Manarov, spent a total of 541 days in space. During a mission on the Mir space station in 1991, he was filming the docking of a supply capsule when he saw something strange. As he was filming, an object that looked like a silver spiral floated up from below the station and then shot away. He managed to capture it on video. The object was clearly not space debris, as it seemed to move under its own power. Manarov himself said, "It was a spiral-like movement, you know? I had no idea what it could be. It looked like it was spinning and then it just went away." The footage has been analyzed many times, and while some suggest it could be a piece of insulation, Manarov, the man who saw it with his own eyes, remains unconvinced by that simple explanation. So what does this all mean? We have decorated pilots, scientists, and decorated military officers, people at the peak of their profession, all reporting eerily similar things. They describe objects with capabilities far beyond our own, incredible speeds, silent operation, and maneuvers that defy our understanding of physics. These aren't people who are easily fooled. They are trained to observe, to analyze, and to report facts. And the fact is, they saw something they could not explain. The common thread in all their stories is a sense of awe, confusion, and a certainty that what they witnessed was not of this world. The official response has often been dismissive, attributing these sightings to space debris, ice crystals, or reflections. But for the astronauts themselves, these explanations often fall short. Gordon Cooper felt the evidence was suppressed. Edgar Mitchell was convinced of a massive cover-up. Buzz Aldrin chose his words carefully to avoid ridicule. This pattern suggests a reluctance from official channels to confront the reality of what these astronauts have witnessed. Is it because they don't know what these objects are? Or is it because they do? These accounts from the pioneers of space exploration provide some of the most credible evidence we have in the search for extraterrestrial life. They force us to ask bigger questions. If these advanced craft are visiting us, who are they? What do they want? And why is there so much secrecy surrounding their presence? The testimony of these brave men and women who have traveled beyond our world suggests that the answer might be far more incredible than we can imagine. Thank you for joining us on UFO Evidence. What do you think about these astronaut sightings? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. We'll see you next time.